God never designed your life to be controlled by luck. Please write that down. God never designed human life to operate by chance, by accident, by favoritism, or by random opportunity. If your life depends on luck, then God is not Lord, chance is Lord. If your future depends on who likes you, who notices you, who opens a door for you, then your destiny is in the hands of men and not in the hands of the Creator. And that is not the way God built life. I want you to think for a moment. The sun does not rise by luck. The moon does not appear by luck. The planets do not stay in their courses because they are hoping today will be a good day. The ocean does not stop at the shore because it feels polite. Everything God created is governed by law. Laws make creation dependable. Laws make life predictable. Laws make the invisible wisdom of God visible in the natural world. That is why you can study the stars. That is why a farmer can plant seed and expect a harvest. That is why a doctor can examine the body and identify what is wrong. Order is the signature of God. If you put a seed on a tile floor and pray over it for 40 days, the seed will not grow. Now some of you don't like that. You say, but I prayed. Prayer is powerful, but prayer does not cancel law. The seed needs soil. The seed needs water. The seed needs light. The seed needs the conditions that God attached to its life. In other words, the future of the seed is not in the seed alone. The future of the seed is in the seed, obeying the environment and the laws that release what is inside it. Are you thinking? Now here's where I want to correct you, gently but directly. Some of what you call bad luck may not be bad luck. Some of what you call delay may not be the devil. Some of what you call rejection may not be God punishing you. It may be that you are violating principles and expecting God to sponsor disorder. God is merciful, but God is not confused. God loves you, but love does not make him break his own laws to protect your excuses. You don't break laws. Laws break you. Write that down. If a man jumps from a building, he did not break the law of gravity. Gravity broke him. Gravity was not angry. Gravity was not emotional. Gravity was not prejudiced. Gravity simply functioned. That is why life is so serious. God built judgment into law. If you cooperate with law, law establishes you. If you violate law, law corrects you. And many people are crying for miracles when they should be learning principles. Success is not a miracle event. Success is not something that falls on one person and skips another because heaven is playing favorites. Success is a result. Success is predictable. Failure is predictable. Poverty is predictable. Increase is predictable. Peace is predictable. Confusion is predictable. Why? Because God connected outcomes to laws. The tragedy is that many people want results without responsibility. They want harvest without seed. They want promotion without preparation. They want influence without solving problems. They want purpose without discipline. Oh dear, I guess I'm talking to myself now. This teaching is not designed to make you chase success. I don't want you chasing success. Anything you chase is running from you. I want you to understand the laws that produce success so success can begin to follow your obedience. When you discover the principles God built into your assignment, your life stops being an experiment and becomes a manifestation. You stop living by accident. You stop waiting for somebody to feel sorry for you. You stop blaming the economy, your family, your past, your age, your enemies, your country, your color, your education. You begin to say, Lord, show me the laws that govern what you created me to do. Life becomes predictable when you stop trusting chance and start discovering the laws God built into creation. Say that out loud. I was not created to live by luck. Come on, say it again. I was not created to live by luck. If you are serious about becoming a person of purpose, stay with this teaching. Don't just listen for excitement, listen for instruction. Subscribe if you are serious about growing into the person God designed you to become, and write in the comments, I was not created to live by luck. Because from this moment, we are going to move from excuses to principles, from chance to order, from survival to purpose. Now, I want you to get this in your spirit. Success is not a miracle event. Please write that down. Success is not a miracle event. Success is not God waking up one morning and deciding, I think I will bless this one and confuse that one. Success is not heaven throwing opportunities into the earth like dice and hoping your number comes up. No, success is a lawful result. It is the predictable consequence of a life that discovers purpose and then submits that purpose to correct principles over time. And this is where many people get offended, because they want success to be mysterious. They want it to be emotional. They want it to be dramatic. They want to testify. I don't know how it happened, but God is not glorified by your ignorance. God is glorified when His wisdom is demonstrated through your obedience. Are you listening to me? If you don't know how it happened, you may not be able to keep it. Anything you receive without principle, you can lose without explanation. But when you understand the laws that produced it, you can reproduce it, protect it, and pass it on to somebody else. So let us define success properly. Success is not being famous. Success is not being rich. Success is not having people clap for you. Success is not wearing something expensive, driving something impressive, living somewhere exclusive, or being invited into rooms where people mispronounce your name but pretend they know you. Success is not being ahead of your brother, your sister, your classmate, your neighbor, or the person who rejected you. If you measure success by comparison, you will always be a prisoner. Because there will always be somebody with more, somebody with less, somebody faster, somebody slower, somebody louder, somebody more celebrated. Comparison is a poor measuring stick for destiny. Success is the fulfillment of original purpose. Say that out loud. Success is the fulfillment of original purpose. In other words, success is not what you have done compared to what somebody else has done. Success is what you have done compared to what you were created to do. That is why a fish is successful in water, but a failure in a tree. The fish is not inferior to the bird. It is simply judged by the wrong environment. Oh dear. Are you thinking? Many of you are depressed because you are trying to succeed in somebody else's purpose. You are measuring your life by another man's assignment, another woman's grace, another family's timing, another person's applause. God never asked you to become them. God asked you to become everything He placed inside you. Write this down. Success is not what you pursue. Success is what happens when purpose meets correct principles over time. Let me say it again. Success is not what you pursue. Success is what happens when purpose meets correct principles over time. One more time, because some of you are still thinking about money. Success is not what you pursue. Success is what happens when purpose meets correct principles over time. That means success is not an accident. It is not a mood. It is not a wish. It is not a shortcut. Success is the fruit of alignment. This is why God told Joshua something very important. Joshua chapter 1 verse 8 says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success." Now look at the verse carefully. God did not tell Joshua, if you cry long enough, I will make you successful. He did not say, if you feel spiritual enough, I will make your way prosperous. He said, meditate, observe, do. Then you will make your way prosperous. Then you will have good success. Did you see the order? Meditation, observation, obedience, prosperity, success. Say it with me. Meditate, observe, do. Come on, say it again. Meditate, observe, do. That is not luck. That is law. God gave Joshua a system. He said, put my wisdom in your mouth. Put my law in your mind. Put my commandments in your behavior. Then your way will begin to prosper. In other words, God placed the outcome on the other side of obedience. The verse makes success conditional, not accidental. It says, then, I love that word, then. Not maybe, not perhaps, not if the economy behaves, not if your enemies approve. Then, when the conditions are met, the result is released. Now reverse the verse so you can understand it. If this book of the law does depart out of your mouth, if you refuse to meditate day and night, if you do not observe to do what is written, then you should not expect your way to be prosperous, and you should not expect good success. That is not God being mean. That is God being consistent. If a person ignores wisdom, refuses instruction, violates principles, rejects correction, despises discipline, and then expects prosperity, that person is asking God to violate his own system. And God will not destroy his laws to protect your laziness. Some of you don't like that because you have been taught that prayer replaces process. Prayer is powerful. Don't misunderstand me. Prayer is necessary. Prayer is communion with the lawgiver. Prayer aligns your heart. Prayer adjusts your motives. Prayer cleans your spirit. Prayer gives you discernment. Prayer brings you into fellowship with the source. But prayer does not replace obedience to laws. If you pray over a field and never plant seed, don't blame God for the empty harvest. If you pray for wisdom and refuse instruction, don't blame God for confusion. If you pray for increase and mismanage the little you have, don't blame the devil for lack. Prayer aligns the person, but principles govern the process. This is why many sincere people remain frustrated. They love God, but they violate order. They sing loudly, but they plan poorly. They pray intensely, but they think lazily. They believe deeply, but they execute inconsistently. They want God to do by miracle what he commanded them to do by principle. And God says, I gave you my law. I gave you my word. I gave you wisdom. I gave you instruction. I gave you seed. I gave you time. I gave you people. I gave you gifts. Now, obey the system. Please hear me carefully. A miracle is when God intervenes in a crisis. A law is how God intended you to live before the crisis. If you build your life needing miracles every week, something is wrong with your obedience to law. Miracles are wonderful, but you cannot build maturity on emergencies. God does not want you living from rescue to rescue. He wants you living from principle to principle, from wisdom to wisdom, from obedience to obedience, until success becomes the natural evidence of your alignment. That is why success is predictable. Failure is predictable too. If you keep violating the laws of health, your body will answer. If you keep violating the laws of finance, your money will answer. If you keep violating the laws of relationships, people will answer. If you keep violating the laws of purpose, your soul will answer. You don't have to be surprised by every consequence. Life is not confusing when you understand law. The confusion comes when you expect one result while practicing the opposite principle. So stop waiting for luck. Stop waiting for somebody to discover you while you refuse to develop. Stop waiting for applause while you refuse assignment. Stop waiting for promotion while you refuse preparation. Success is a lawful result. It is purpose submitted to principles over time. And when you live that way, you become dangerous to mediocrity because your future is no longer controlled by chance. Your future begins to respond to law. Now here is the part that many people do not want to hear, but you must hear it if you are serious about your future. You do not break divine laws. Divine laws break you when you violate them. Please write that down. You do not break divine laws. You break yourself against them. The law remains. The principle remains. The order remains. The system remains. You are the one who gets damaged when you try to live against what God established to protect you. This is why we must understand the difference between punishment and consequence. Punishment is when someone comes after you to make you pay. Consequence is when payment is built into the action itself. Are you listening? God does not have to chase a man who keeps violating law. The law already contains judgment. If you put your hand in fire, God does not need to send an angel from heaven to burn you. Fire has a law. Fire has a nature. Fire has a consequence built into it. You can be sincere, you can be religious, you can be educated, you can be emotional, but if you violate the law of fire, the fire will not interview your intentions. It will burn. That is why I keep telling you, God is not emotional in the way we think. God is faithful, God is consistent, God is righteous, and righteousness means God is right in His order. He does not suspend His wisdom because you are crying. He does not destroy His system because you refuse to learn it. Some people are blaming God for pain that came from violating principles. They say, why did God allow this? And sometimes God is saying, I told you the law before you touched the consequence. A fish does not need God to kill it when it leaves water. The fish only needs to be separated from the environment that was designed to sustain its life. Put a fish on dry ground and begins to die, not because God hates fish, not because the devil attacked the fish, not because the fish had enemies, but because the fish is out of position. Its life is protected by the law of environment. Water is not a luxury for the fish. Water is a law. The fish can jump, the fish can struggle, the fish can make noise, the fish can have potential. But potential outside correct environment becomes suffocation. Oh dear, are you thinking some of you are talented, but you are suffocating? You have gifts, but you are drying up. You have ideas, but they are losing life. You have dreams, but they are gasping for breath. And you keep asking, why is this happening to me? Maybe your gift is outside discipline. Maybe your vision is outside planning. Maybe your desire is outside character. Maybe your ambition is outside humility. Maybe your talent is outside instruction. And when talent leaves the environment of discipline, it dies like a fish outside water. A seed on a tiled floor does not need a curse to remain unfruitful. Nobody has to prophesy against the seed. Nobody has to hate the seed. Nobody has to block the seed. The seed is simply in the wrong condition. The tile floor may be clean, expensive, polished, and impressive, but it is not soiled. Write that down. What impresses people may not sustain purpose. The seed needs soil, because soil is the environment attached to its future. The seed contains a forest, but the forest is trapped until the seed submits to the law of soil, water, and time. This is why you can be full of greatness and still produce nothing. Greatness does not excuse you from law. Potential does not exempt you from process. Anointing does not cancel discipline. Vision does not replace planning. Desire does not replace character. If you take a great dream and put it on the tile floor of laziness, it will not grow. If you take a powerful gift and put it in the environment of pride, it will not mature. If you take a divine calling and place it among wrong people, wrong habits, wrong appetites, and wrong thinking, do not be shocked when the thing begins to die. What breaks people? Say it with me. Not the size of their dream, but the violation of the laws that govern the dream. Come on, say it again. What breaks people? Not the size of their dream, but the violation of the laws that govern the dream. Your dream is not too big. Your gift is not too powerful. Your assignment is not impossible. The problem is that you want a big dream with small discipline. You want a global assignment with private disorder. You want influence with no integrity. You want success with no structure. And then when life resists you, you call it unfair. Let us talk about unfairness for a moment. Some things in life are unjust, yes. People can be wicked. Systems can be corrupt. Rules can be wrong. But do not use the existence of injustice as permission to ignore principle. Many people call life unfair when they are repeatedly violating the laws that protect destiny. They arrive late and call it discrimination. They refuse preparation and call it rejection. They mismanage money and call it attack. They destroy relationships and call it betrayal. They refuse correction and call it persecution. Oh dear, talk to the hand if you want, but truth is still truth. The pain many people call bad luck is often the consequence of living against the laws that were meant to protect their purpose. That means some pain is not an enemy. Some pain is information. Pain tells you something is out of order. Pain is the body reporting violation. Pain is destiny saying you are moving against the law that sustains me. If your relationships keep breaking, study the laws of honor, communication, forgiveness, and boundaries. If your finances keep drying up, study the laws of work, stewardship, saving, giving, and investment. If your vision keeps failing, study the laws of planning, counsel, timing, and execution. Stop just rebuking what you should be learning from. God's laws are not against you. They are for you. They are not prison bars. They are protection. The law of water protects the fish. The law of soil protects the seed. The law of gravity protects the order of creation. The law of character protects your influence. The law of discipline protects your gift. The law of planning protects your vision. The law of wisdom protects your future. So when God gives you a commandment, He is not trying to reduce your life. He is trying to preserve your purpose. So I came to confront the excuse today. Stop calling everything bad luck. Stop calling every consequence an attack. Stop calling every closed door hatred. Stop calling every failure mystery. Ask a better question. What law am I violating? What principle am I ignoring? What instruction did I despise? What environment did I leave? What soil did I refuse? Because the moment you discover the law, you recover the path. And when you humble yourself before the laws of God, the same law that once corrected, you can begin to establish you. Now listen carefully, because this is where discernment becomes necessary. There is a difference between a rule and a law. Please write that down. A rule is not always a law. A rule may be cultural. A rule may be traditional. A rule may be temporary. A rule may be created by men who were afraid of change. A rule may be created by people who benefited from keeping you in your place. But a law is original. A law is established by God. A law is universal. A law does not need your permission to function. A law works in Africa, in America, in Asia, in Europe, in the village, in the city, in the boardroom, in the church, in the family, in the marketplace. Laws are not moved by fashion. Laws are not changed by opinion. Laws are the mind of God embedded into creation. This is why rules can stop you, but laws will establish you. Say that out loud. Rules can stop me, but laws will establish me. Come on, say it again. Rules can stop me, but laws will establish me. Many people are failing, not because they are breaking God's laws, but because they are worshiping men's rules. They are loyal to traditions that produce no fruit. They are faithful to systems that were never designed to release their purpose. They are obeying customs that make them acceptable to people, but ineffective in destiny. Oh dear, are you thinking? Jesus understood this. Jesus never violated the law of God. He fulfilled it. He honored it. He said, do not think that I came to destroy the law. But he challenged the rules of men that made the law of God of no effect. When the religious leaders became more committed to their traditions than to God's intention, Jesus confronted them. He healed on days they said healing should not happen. He touched people they said should not be touched. He ate with people they said should not be approached. He spoke to people they said should be avoided. Why? Because he was not rebelling against God's law. He was exposing human rules that had become enemies of divine purpose. Please understand this. Jesus did not break principle. He broke tradition. There is a difference. He did not break righteousness. He broke religious control. He did not break holiness. He broke hypocrisy. He did not break the law of love, mercy, justice, truth, and purpose. He broke the rules that prevented love, mercy, justice, truth, and purpose from reaching people. That is why successful people must have discernment. You must know what to break and what to obey. If you break the wrong thing, you destroy yourself. If you obey the wrong thing, you imprison yourself. Write this down. Successful people always break limiting rules for the sake of higher laws. Let me say it again. Successful people always break limiting rules for the sake of higher laws. They challenge custom, but they obey principle. They may reject tradition, but they honor truth. They may disturb the system, but they submit to the laws that govern results. That is why innovators disturb industries. That is why reformers disturb nations. That is why leaders disturb comfortable people. They see a rule that says, this is how it has always been done. And they ask, but is this how it must be done? They are not trying to be strange. They are trying to be faithful to law. A business leader may break the rule of how everybody in the industry markets the product. He may break the rule of how everybody prices the service. He may break the rule of how everybody opens the store, designs the platform, reaches the customer, or builds the team. But he cannot break the law of value. If you do not provide value, the market will answer. He cannot break the law of service. If you do not serve people, people will not trust you. He cannot break the law of stewardship. If you mismanage resources, increase will expose you. He cannot break the law of timing. If you move too early without preparation or too late without courage, opportunity will pass you. He cannot break the law of trust. If people cannot trust your character, they will eventually question your product. So you can break industry customs, but you cannot break the laws of success. Are you with me? You can change the package, but you cannot violate integrity. You can challenge the method, but you cannot despise excellence. You can disturb the marketplace, but you cannot mistreat people. You can reject old procedures, but you cannot reject wisdom. Some people think they are visionary because they refuse to follow rules. No, no. Rebellion is not vision. Stubbornness is not leadership. Disorder is not creativity. Breaking rules without obeying laws is not greatness. It is immaturity wearing a crown. This is where many gifted people destroy themselves. They say, I am different. Fine. But are you disciplined? They say, I don't follow the crowd. Good. But do you follow principle? They say, I am called to change the system. Excellent. But can you submit to law while you change the system? Because if you break rules and also break laws, you are not a reformer. You are a danger to yourself. A man who ignores every boundary is not free. He is untrained. A woman who refuses every correction is not strong. She is ungoverned. Real leadership is not the absence of restraint. Real leadership is submission to higher restraint. That is why you must stop confusing tradition with truth. Some traditions are helpful because they carry wisdom from one generation to another. But some traditions are simply fear wearing old clothes. Some rules were created because somebody failed once and then built a fence around everybody else's future. Some customs were made by people who never understood your assignment. If you obey every rule men give you, you may become accepted but not effective. If you break every rule without discernment, you may become noisy but not successful. The secret is not rule breaking. The secret is law keeping. God is not looking for rebels. God is looking for sons and daughters who understand His order. He is looking for people bold enough to challenge what men built against purpose, but humble enough to obey what God built for purpose. Boldness without humility becomes arrogance. Humility without boldness becomes captivity. You need both. You need the courage to say, this tradition is not producing life. And you need the humility to say, Lord, show me the law I must obey. So here's your question. What rules are stopping you that God never established? Who told you you could not build? Who told you you were too late? Who told you your background disqualified you? Who told you nobody in your family can rise above this level? Who told you your gift must look like theirs to be legitimate? Those may be rules. But now ask the second question. What laws are you refusing that God did establish? Are you refusing discipline? Are you refusing planning? Are you refusing character? Are you refusing counsel? Are you refusing service? Are you refusing patience? Because the future belongs to the person who can discern the difference. You must be bold enough to break limiting rules, but humble enough to obey the laws that govern true success. Tweet that to somebody. Put it in your notes. Put it on your mirror. Bold enough to break limiting rules. Humble enough to obey divine laws. That is the balance of greatness. When you break the rule that imprisoned you and obey the law that establishes you, your life begins to move from permission to purpose. You stop asking men for approval to become what God already designed, and you start submitting your gift to the laws that make success predictable. Now, if laws establish success, then we must begin with the first law for your personal life, and that is purpose. Please write this down. Purpose is the first law of success, because purpose gives success its measurement. Let me say it again. Purpose is the first law of success, because purpose gives success its measurement. You cannot know whether something is successful until you know why it was created. If you do not know the purpose of a thing, you will abuse the thing, misjudge the thing, compare the thing, and then discard the thing while it is still valuable. A chair is not successful because it can sing. A chair is not a failure because it cannot preach. A chair is not inferior to a microphone because the microphone can amplify sound. A chair is successful when it does what it was designed to do. If the chair supports weight, it is successful. If the chair looks beautiful but collapses when somebody sits on it, that chair is a failure. Why? Because success is measured by design, not decoration. Success is measured by purpose, not comparison. Oh dear, are you thinking? We have many beautiful lives collapsing under pressure because they were decorated for applause but never aligned with purpose. That is why comparison is dangerous. You may be judging yourself by another person's function. You may be calling yourself unsuccessful because you cannot do what they do, when God never designed you to do what they do. If you judge a chair by its ability to sing, you will call a useful chair useless. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, you will call a genius creature a failure. If you judge your life by another person's assignment, you will misinterpret your own value. Write this down. Where purpose is unknown, comparison becomes the substitute. And comparison is a cruel master because it never tells you who you are, it only tells you who you are not. This is why God begins with purpose before he begins with activity. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and an expected end." Now look at the language. God says, I know. He does not say, I am guessing. He says, I know the plans. Before you had activity, God had intention. Before you had a career, God had a plan. Before you had a title, God had an expected end. Before people had an opinion about you, God had a purpose for you. That means your life did not begin with your birth certificate. Your life began in the mind of God. Your mother may have carried your body, but God carried your purpose. Your father may have contributed to your formation, but God determined your intention. That is why nobody else has the authority to define you finally. They may describe your past, but they cannot define your purpose. They may know your mistakes, but they do not know your expected end unless God reveals it. You are not an accident looking for meaning. You are an intention looking for alignment. Say this out loud. I was created for a purpose. Come on, say it again. I was created for a purpose. Now say this. My success must be measured by my purpose. That is important because many people are busy but not successful. They are moving but not aligned. They are tired but not fruitful. They are occupied but not fulfilled. Activity without purpose creates exhaustion, not success. You can be busy doing many things and still be failing at the one thing you were born to do. Some of you are proud because your schedule is full. But a full schedule is not proof of purpose. It may be proof that you cannot say no. It may be proof that you are addicted to motion. It may be proof that you are trying to impress people who do not understand your assignment. You can run fast in the wrong direction and still be lost. Speed does not correct misdirection. Energy does not replace identity. Progress is only progress when it moves you toward purpose. This is why you must stop asking first, what can I do? And start asking, why was I created? Because ability without purpose becomes confusion. You may have many talents. You may be able to speak, lead, organize, build, sing, teach, sell, design, administrate, comfort, invent, or solve problems. But your gift must serve your purpose. Your ability must submit to your assignment. If you let opportunity define your life, you will become scattered. Every open door is not your door. Every invitation is not your assignment. Every applause is not approval from God. You are not here to imitate another person's assignment. You are here to complete the work connected to your own design. Please hear me. Inspiration is good, but imitation can become captivity. Learn from people, but do not become their shadow. Honor mentors, but do not surrender your identity to their pattern. God did not create you to be a copy of someone He already made. If He wanted another them, He would have duplicated them. He created you because there is a problem your design is supposed to answer, a contribution your gift is supposed to make, a space your purpose is supposed to fill. So the first law you must obey is the law of purpose. Discover why you were created. Study your design. Pay attention to your burdens, your gifts, your convictions, your righteous anger, your natural abilities, your cultivated skills, and the problems that keep calling your name. Then submit all of it to God. Do not invent a purpose and ask God to bless it. Discover His purpose and obey it. Because you cannot know whether you are successful until you know why you were created. And when purpose becomes clear, measurement becomes correct, comparison loses its power, and your life begins to move from mere activity into assignment. Now, once purpose is discovered, the next law you must understand is potential. Please write this down. Potential is not success. Potential is responsibility waiting for discipline. Let me say it again because some of you missed it. Potential is not success. Potential is responsibility waiting for discipline. Many people are impressed with potential, but heaven is not impressed until potential becomes product, service, contribution, fruit. What is potential? Potential is hidden ability. Potential is unused capacity. Potential is dormant gifts. Potential is the future trapped inside the present. Potential is what you can do that you have not done yet. Potential is what you can become that you have not become yet. Potential is what God placed in you in seed form, waiting for the right conditions, the right management, the right pressure, and the right discipline to release it. That means potential is powerful, but potential is also dangerous if it is unmanaged. A man can die full of books he never wrote, songs he never sang, businesses he never built, solutions he never released, children he never trained, ideas he never organized, and wisdom he never transferred. The cemetery is not full of bodies only. It is full of potential that was never managed. Oh dear, are you thinking? The graveyard is wealthy because many people carried treasure and never disciplined themselves enough to release it. A seed may contain a forest, but if the seed stays in your hand, the forest remains invisible. You can admire the seed. You can polish the seed. You can preach about the seed. You can tell everybody this seed has greatness in it. But if the seed never meets soil, water, time, darkness, and pressure, the forest stays trapped. Potential needs environment. Potential needs process. Potential needs cultivation. Potential needs patience. Potential needs death to comfort before it can produce life and purpose. This is why you must stop bragging about what you could have done. I could have been this. I could have built that. I could have gone there. I could have started that company. I could have written that book. Potential without management becomes an excuse with decoration. Do not tell me what you could have done. Show me what discipline released. Success does not reward what was possible. Success rewards what was cultivated. Some gifted people resent disciplined people. They say, I am more talented than they are. Maybe you are. But talent is not the law. Management is the law. They say, I am smarter than they are. Maybe you are. But wisdom is proven by fruit, not by opinion. They say, I have more ideas than they have. Maybe you do. But an organized person with one idea will often defeat a scattered person with 10 ideas. Why? Because laws reward management, not excuses. Raw talent often loses to trained principle. Write that down. Raw talent often loses to trained principle. The person who practices, studies, plans, submits to correction, arrives on time, honors process, and keeps improving will eventually pass the person who was born gifted but refuses discipline. Gift may open a door, but character keeps you in the room. Talent may attract attention, but management builds trust. Ability may make people clap, but discipline makes results predictable. This is why God does not give potential for entertainment. He gives potential for assignment. Your potential exists because your purpose requires it. If God gave you capacity to teach, it is because somebody needs understanding. If He gave you capacity to lead, it is because somebody needs direction. If He gave you capacity to create, it is because something needs to be built. If He gave you capacity to solve problems, it is because pain is waiting for your answer. Your gift is not for your ego. Your gift is for your assignment. So do not bury your treasure and then blame God for your lack of fruit. Do not hide your ability under fear, laziness, comparison, procrastination, or excuses. Manage what you carry. Cultivate it. Train it. Study it. Practice it. Expose it to soil. Give it water. Let time work on it. Let pressure strengthen it. Potential must be managed, or it becomes buried. Treasure. And God did not place treasure in you for burial. He placed it in you for release. Now, after potential comes passion. Please write this down. Passion gives energy to purpose. Let me say it again. Passion gives energy to purpose. Purpose tells you what you were born to do, but passion gives you the strength to keep doing it when nobody claps, nobody calls, nobody understands, and nobody helps. Passion is necessary because purpose will always be tested. If your purpose has no passion, delay will discourage you. Criticism will silence you. Rejection will offend you. Inconvenience will stop you. Pressure will make you quit. You need passion because assignment is not always comfortable. Some people think if God called them, everything will be easy. No, no, no. Calling does not remove resistance. Calling attracts resistance. When you discover purpose, you also discover what you are willing to suffer for. That is why passion is important. Passion is the fire that keeps your heart alive while your hands are still working. Passion makes you rise early when your body wants to bed. Passion makes you study when your friends are wasting time. Passion makes you try again after the door closes. Passion makes you keep building when people say, "Who do you think you are?" Passion is the energy of conviction. But now listen carefully, because this is where many people destroy themselves. Passion is necessary, but passion alone is dangerous. Write that down. Passion is necessary, but passion alone is dangerous. Fire is good in the stove, but fire is dangerous in the curtains. Fire can cook your food, warm your house, purify metal, and give light in darkness. But fire without boundaries burns down the house it was meant to warm. Are you thinking? The same passion that can build your future can destroy your relationships, your credibility, your health, your money, and your assignment if it is not governed by principle. That is why passion must submit to principles. Principles are fixed standards. Principles are not moods. Principles are not feelings. Principles are not excitement. Principles are laws of conduct that keep your energy moving in the right direction. Passion says, "I want to do it." Principle says, "This is how it must be done." Passion says, "I feel strongly." Principle says, "Feeling is not enough. You must be faithful." Passion starts the car, but principle keeps it on the road. Passion gives you speed, but principle gives you direction. Speed without direction is just expensive confusion. Some of you are passionate, but you are not principled. That is why your life moves in bursts. You start strong and finish weak. You announce loudly and disappear quietly. You get excited in January and exhausted by March. You make commitments when your emotions are high, then break them when discipline is required. Then you say, "That is just my personality." No, my friend, sometimes it is not your personality. Sometimes it is your refusal to live by principle. Stop spiritualizing inconsistency. Stop decorating instability. Stop calling disorder creativity. If you cannot be counted on, that is not a gift, that is a problem. Write this down. Passion can start movement, but only principles can sustain success. Say it out loud. Passion can start movement, but only principles can sustain success. One more time. Passion can start movement, but only principles can sustain success. This is why many people have motion, but no maturity. They have enthusiasm, but no endurance. They have dreams, but no systems. They have fire, but no fireplace. They burn hot for a season, then burn out, because there was no principle to regulate the flame. Here is the order. Purpose reveals what to do. Passion gives strength to do it. Principles determine how it must be done. Do not confuse these. Purpose answers the question, "Why am I here?" Passion answers the question, "What am I willing to give my energy to?" Principles answer the question, "What standards must govern me while I pursue it?" If you have purpose without passion, you may know your assignment but lack energy. If you have passion without purpose, you will be busy but misdirected. If you have passion without principles, you will be powerful but unstable. But when purpose, passion, and principles come together, success becomes sustainable. That is why God never designed your life to be governed by feelings. Feelings change with the weather. Feelings change with people's opinions. Feelings change with sleep, hunger, rejection, and praise. If you build your life on feelings, your future will be as unstable as your mood. But principles do not change because you had a bad day. Integrity is still right when you are tired. Excellence is still required when nobody is watching. Faithfulness still matters when the results are delayed. Discipline is still necessary when you are not inspired. Honor is still a law when people disappoint you. Principled people are predictable. You know how they will respond because their standards are not for sale. They do not need applause to be excellent. They do not need pressure to be honest. They do not need supervision to be faithful. They do not need crisis to pray. They do not need opportunity to prepare. They live by laws before the reward appears. That is why success can trust them. Oh dear, did you hear what I said? Success can trust a principled person because success knows they will not destroy tomorrow with today's emotion. So examine your passion. Is it governed? Is it submitted? Is it disciplined? Or does it make you loud, impulsive, offended, impatient, and unreliable? Passion is not permission to be reckless. Passion is not an excuse to dishonor people. Passion is not a license to break covenant, ignore counsel, neglect process, or despise correction. True passion bows to principle because it understands that the assignment is too important to be left to emotion. You need passion, yes, but you also need standards. You need conviction, but you also need consistency. You need fire, but you also need boundaries. Let your passion wake you up, but let principle tell you where to walk. Let passion give you energy, but let principle govern your decisions. Because passion may begin the journey, but principles are what carry you through delay, criticism, rejection, inconvenience, and pressure until purpose becomes fruit. Now, after principles comes planning. Please write this down. Planning is faith-giving structure to vision. Let me say it again. Planning is faith-giving structure to vision. Many people say they have faith, but what they really have is a wish. Faith is not a wish. Faith is confidence in what God has spoken. And confidence always begins to organize. If you believe you are going somewhere, you pack. If you believe guests are coming, you prepare the house. If you believe rain is coming, you build the ark before the first drop falls. Preparation is proof that you believe the future you are talking about. Vision without planning becomes frustration. Why? Because vision shows you the future, but planning gives the future a structure to enter. Some of you have seen great things in your spirit, but your life has no schedule, no budget, no order, no steps, no accountability, no measurement, and no strategy. Then you get angry with God because the vision is delayed. But sometimes the vision is not delayed because heaven is silent. Sometimes the vision is delayed because earth is disorganized. Oh dear, are you thinking? God can show you the destination, but He will not do your planning for you. The book of Proverbs says that the axe is dull and the edge is not sharpened. More strength is needed, but skill brings success. In other words, preparation saves energy. Planning sharpens the axe before labor begins. A man with a dull axe can sweat all day and produce very little. Another man stops, sharpens the blade, studies the tree, chooses the angle, and with less shouting, less sweat, and less drama, he brings the tree down. That is not luck. That is wisdom. Some people are exhausted because they are working with dull axes. They are sincere, but sincerity is not a substitute for strategy. Please hear me carefully. Planning is not unbelief. Planning is not a lack of spirituality. Planning is honoring God enough to organize what He showed you. If God gives you a vision for a business, you need a plan. If God gives you a vision for ministry, you need a plan. If God gives you a vision for your family, you need a plan. If God gives you a vision for your health, your finances, your education, your leadership, your gift, you need a plan. Stop saying, I am waiting on the Lord, when the Lord is waiting on your notebook. Write that down and send it to somebody. Sometimes God is not waiting to speak. He is waiting for you to organize what He already said. Even Jesus taught planning. He said, what man builds a tower and does not first sit down and count the cost? Notice the words, sit down. Before you stand up to build, sit down to plan. Before you announce, sit down. Before you borrow money, sit down. Before you quit the job, sit down. Before you marry the person, sit down. Before you launch the dream, sit down. Count the cost. Because faith does not mean you ignore cost. Faith means you count the cost and still obey God with understanding. This is where the shortcut mentality must die. Shortcuts are attractive because they promise harvest without process. They promise influence without service, wealth without management, promotion without preparation, visibility without character, and success without laws. But write this down. The longest way to success is the shortcut. Say it out loud. The longest way to success is the shortcut. Shortcuts often take you around the very process that was designed to mature you. You arrive fast, but you arrive undeveloped. You get attention, but you cannot manage it. You get opportunity, but you have no structure. Then what you call favor becomes pressure because you skip preparation. Do not admire people who seem to bypass process. You do not know the weight they are carrying privately. And if they truly bypass law, do not envy them, because law always collects. A seed cannot shortcut soil. A child cannot shortcut growth. A building cannot shortcut foundation. A pilot cannot shortcut training. If you shortcut the runway, you may crash in the air. Are you listening to me? Speed is not success if it destroys sustainability. God is not just interested in getting you there. He is interested in making you capable of remaining there. So what does planning look like? Number one, define the problem. Success begins with identifying a problem you were designed to solve. Do not just say, I want to be successful. Ask, what problem is my purpose assigned to answer? Number two, identify the people you are called to serve. A gift without a people becomes self-display. Who needs what you carry? Who is waiting for your solution? Number three, count the cost. What will it require in time, money, study, discipline, sacrifice, training, relationships, and patience? Number four, create steps. Do not worship the dream and neglect the next action. Big visions are fulfilled by small, obedient steps repeated consistently. Number five, measure progress. What you do not measure, you will often mismanage. Measure your growth. Measure your habits. Measure your finances. Measure your service. Measure your fruit. Measurement is not pride. Measurement is stewardship. Number six, adjust without abandoning purpose. This is important. Plans can change without purpose changing. Methods can change without assignment changing. Roads can change without the destination changing. If one door closes, review the plan. If one strategy fails, learn. If one season shifts, adjust. But do not throw away purpose because a plan needed correction. Planning gives faith a path to walk on. Faith sees, planning steps. Faith believes, planning organizes. Faith receives the promise, planning prepares the vessel. Do not be so spiritual that you become impractical. And do not be so practical that you become unbelieving. Bring them together. Let faith hear God, and let planning honor what you heard. Because the future God showed you deserves more than excitement. It deserves structure. It deserves preparation. It deserves counted cost, ordered steps, measured progress, and disciplined adjustment until vision becomes manifestation. Now, after planning comes, people, please write this down. Success is personal in responsibility, but relational in fulfillment. Let me say it again. Success is personal in responsibility, but relational in fulfillment. You are responsible for your assignment, but you cannot fulfill your assignment alone. God never gave a destiny that did not require relationships. Even when He gives purpose to one person, He connects that purpose to many people. A seed needs soil. A fish needs water. A body needs organs. A vision needs people. Are you thinking your assignment will require mentors to correct you, partners to strengthen you, team members to build with you, students to receive from you, customers to value what you produce, and people whose problems your gift was designed to solve? If nobody needs what you carry, then you have not understood your gift yet. Purpose is never isolated. Purpose always has a people. This is why you must stop saying, I do not need anybody. That sounds strong, but it is ignorant. Independence may begin maturity, but isolation destroys destiny. No eye says to the hand, I have no need of you. No foot says to the ear, I have no need of you. The body functions because parts are connected according to purpose. The wrong connection creates pain. The right connection creates movement. When your relationships are aligned, you move faster with less confusion, less waste, and less unnecessary warfare. But now listen carefully. There is a difference between a crowd and a covenant connection. Write that down. A crowd can admire your gift and still not be assigned to your purpose. A crowd can clap for you and never build with you. A crowd can like your talent and still leave when your assignment becomes costly. Do not confuse attention with alignment. Do not confuse applause with agreement. Do not confuse followers with helpers. Everybody who likes what you do is not connected to where you are going. Jesus had crowds, but he chose 12. Are you listening? The crowd wanted miracles. The 12 received training. The crowd wanted bread. The 12 received correction. The crowd followed for benefit. The 12 were chosen for assignment. Even among the 12, he had Peter, James, and John closer in certain moments. That means even love must have order. You can love everybody, but you cannot give everybody the same access. Access must be governed by purpose, character, wisdom, and direction. Wrong people can delay right vision. Please write that down. Wrong people can delay right vision. Why? Because relationships carry influence. Relationships carry habits. Relationships carry priorities. Relationships carry permission. If you walk with people who hate discipline, they will make your discipline feel strange. If you walk with people who despise purpose, they will make your obedience feel extreme. If you walk with people who celebrate excuses, they will make your standards look like pride. Bad company does not only corrupt morals, it corrupts momentum. Some of you are not lacking vision. You are lacking the courage to audit your circle. You have people around you who are comfortable with your weakness but intimidated by your growth. They liked you when you were confused because your confusion made them feel safe. They liked you when you had no plan because your disorder did not challenge their disorder. But the moment you began to obey purpose, they said, you changed. Yes, you changed. Growth is supposed to change you. Purpose should change your schedule, your conversations, your appetite, your priorities, and sometimes your company. Now, do not become arrogant. This is not permission to despise people. This is instruction to discern access. Some people are to be loved from a distance. Some people are to be served but not followed. Some people are to be forgiven but not trusted with your future. Some people are good people but wrong for your assignment. A good person can still be a wrong connection if they are moving in a different direction. Direction matters. If I am going north and you are going south, our affection does not change geography. Influence is connected to solving problems. When your gift solves a real problem, people adjust their priorities to make room for what you carry. That is influence. Influence is when other people change their priorities for yours because you have become an answer to a problem they cannot ignore. A doctor has influence because sickness creates demand. A mechanic has influence because a broken car creates demand. A teacher has influence because ignorance creates demand. Your gift becomes valuable when it is applied to a problem with excellence. So stop begging people to notice you and start solving problems. Stop chasing rooms and become necessary. Stop asking for platforms and develop your gift until your solution creates demand. When Jesus saw problems, people came from everywhere. The sick came, the blind came, the hungry came, the confused came. Why? Because solutions attract people. Your purpose will gather the right people when your gift is disciplined enough to serve. So audit your relationships. Do not audit them by comfort alone. Comfort is not always confirmation. Some people comfort your weakness and call it loyalty. Audit by purpose. Do they understand where you are going? Audit by character. Do they strengthen integrity or weaken it? Audit by wisdom. Do they bring counsel or confusion? Audit by direction. Are they moving toward assignment or are they only drifting with appetite? Ask yourself, who corrects me? Who sharpens me? Who drains me? Who distracts me? Who has permission to speak into my decisions? People are a law because destiny is never fulfilled alone. You need the right people, and the right people need the disciplined version of you. Do not demand covenant from others while you bring chaos to the table. Become the kind of person your purpose requires, and then choose relationships that honor where God has taken you. Because success begins with personal responsibility, but it becomes complete through relational alignment. Now, after people comes persistence and perseverance. Please write this down. Persistence keeps acting consistently, but perseverance keeps standing under pressure. Let me say that again because this is important. Persistence keeps acting consistently, but perseverance keeps standing under pressure. Persistence is what you do when the assignment requires repetition. Perseverance is what you become when the assignment requires endurance. Persistence says, I will keep doing what is right. Perseverance says, I will keep standing while what is right is being tested. Many people confuse excitement with persistence. They start because they are inspired. They continue because people are watching. They move when they feel good. They post when they are motivated. They serve when they are appreciated. They give when they are recognized. But the moment feelings change, they stop. The moment people stop clapping, they withdraw. The moment the result is delayed, they question the call. That is not persistence. That is emotional movement. And if your emotions determine your obedience, then your feelings have become the law of your life. Oh dear, are you thinking? Anything that governs your decisions has become your law. If your mood governs you, mood is your law. If offense governs you, offense is your law. If convenience governs you, convenience is your law. If applause governs you, applause is your law. But successful people do not live by emotional laws. They live by established laws. They understand that principles do not change because feelings change. The seed does not stop growing because the farmer had a bad morning. The sun does not resign because clouds appeared. Gravity does not take a holiday because you are discouraged. Laws keep working, whether you feel them or not. This is why people who believe in luck quit quickly. They try something for a little while, and when luck does not show up, they say, it must not be for me. They plant a seed on Monday, look for a forest on Wednesday, and by Friday they are angry with God. They say nothing is happening. No, my friend, something may be happening where you cannot see it. The problem is not that the law stopped working. The problem is that you wanted visible fruit before invisible roots. Write this down. Before success appears above ground, discipline must work underground. No farmer digs up a seed every morning to see if the law is working. Are you listening? He does not plant corn, then come back the next day with a shovel and say, let me check if this thing is growing. If he keeps digging it up, he kills the process he is trying to inspect. A wise farmer plants the seed, waters the soil, protects the ground, removes weeds, watches the season, and expects harvest. Why? Because he trusts the law. He knows the seed is not dead because it is hidden. He knows silence is not failure. He knows darkness is not abandonment. He knows process is not punishment. Some of you keep digging up your seed with doubt. You begin, then you stop. You commit, then you withdraw. You believe, then you panic. You obey, then you keep checking every hour to see who noticed. You cannot grow a harvest with nervous hands. Some things must be planted and protected long enough for the law to complete its work. Persistence waters. Perseverance waits. Persistence removes weeds. Perseverance survives storms. Persistence keeps showing up. Perseverance refuses to bow to pressure. Now, pressure is important. Do not ask God to remove all pressure from your life, because pressure reveals whether your principle is real. Anybody can talk about faith when the sun is shining. Anybody can talk about purpose when doors are opening. Anybody can talk about discipline when the reward is immediate. But perseverance is proven when the door is closed, the crowd is gone, the money is tight, the report is negative, and the vision still demands obedience. That is when lawful people are separated from lucky people. The lucky person says, if it happens, it happens. The lawful person says, if God established the principle, I will keep obeying the process. The lucky person waits for a break. The lawful person builds capacity. The lucky person complains about delay. The lawful person asks, what is this season developing in me? The lucky person quits when nothing looks successful. The lawful person understands that laws can be working even when results are not visible. This is why delay must be reframed. Delay is not always denial. Delay is often development. Sometimes God delays the visibility of success because He is building the roots that will sustain the fruit. If a tree grows tall without deep roots, the first storm will expose it. So before God allows some people to be seen, He allows them to be strengthened. Before He gives visibility, He develops stability. Before He releases influence, He builds integrity. Before He increases the fruit, He deepens the root. Do not despise the underground season. The underground season is where motives are purified. The underground season is where habits are formed. The underground season is where character is tested. The underground season is where you learn to obey without applause, serve without recognition, give without reward, and prepare without an audience. That season may not look successful, but it may be the most successful season of your life because it is producing the person who can carry the harvest. So stop quitting every time the weather changes. Stop resigning from purpose because you had a difficult week. Stop calling every storm a sign that you miss God. Sometimes storms do not prove you are wrong. They prove you are planted. A seed in soil will meet resistance. Roots must push through darkness. The plant must break through ground. Growth is warfare against containment. If you are becoming what God intended, expect resistance. But do not confuse resistance with failure. People who understand laws can endure seasons where nothing looks successful, yet they keep studying where nobody sees improvement. They keep saving when the amount looks small. They keep practicing when the skill is not celebrated. They keep serving when the platform is hidden. They keep forgiving when bitterness is available. They keep planning, building, correcting, learning, and obeying because they trust the law more than they trust the mood. Persistence and perseverance separate the lawful from the lucky. The lawful do not need chance to encourage them. They are principle. They are purpose. They are process. They have faith in the God who built harvest into seed, fruit into season, and success into obedience. So keep watering, keep protecting, keep standing, keep obeying. The fact that you cannot see the harvest yet does not mean the law is not working. It may mean the roots are growing. And when the roots are strong enough, the fruit will have something to stand on. And now after persistence and perseverance comes prayer. Please write this down. Prayer is not a substitute for laws. Prayer is communion with the one who created the laws. Let me say it again. Prayer is not a substitute for laws. Prayer is communion with the one who created the laws. This is very important because many people use prayer to avoid responsibility. They pray over what they refuse to manage. They pray over what they refuse to plan. They pray over what they refuse to discipline. Then when nothing changes, they say, God did not answer me. No, my friend, God may have answered you by giving you a law. You cannot pray a seed into harvest while refusing to plant it. You cannot pray your body into health while violating the laws of rest, food, and discipline. You cannot pray your finances into order while disobeying the laws of stewardship. You cannot pray your gift into excellence while refusing practice. Prayer does not cancel law. Prayer aligns you with law. Are you listening to me? God is not impressed by religious noise that avoids obedience. Prayer without obedience produces religious frustration. But now listen carefully, because there is another danger. Obedience without prayer can produce pride. You begin to understand principles. You begin to plan well. You begin to manage your potential. You begin to choose the right people. You persist. You persevere. Then success begins to appear. Doors open. People notice. Your name begins to travel. Your gift begins to solve problems. Influence comes. And if you are not careful, achievement will begin to replace assignment. Write this down. Success is dangerous when it disconnects you from the source. The same success God allowed can become an idol if your heart is not submitted. Prayer protects you from worshiping what obedience produced. Prayer reminds you this gift came from God. This breath came from God. This opportunity came from God. This wisdom came from God. This purpose came from God. Prayer keeps your knees on the ground when your name is rising in the room. Prayer protects motives. It purifies ambition. It restores vision. It brings success back under purpose. You see, ambition is not evil when it is submitted to assignment. But ambition becomes dangerous when it is separated from purpose. A knife in the hand of a surgeon can heal. A knife in the hand of a criminal can destroy. Same instrument, different motive. Prayer brings the heart before God so He can examine why you want what you want. Do you want success to serve? Or do you want success to be seen? Do you want influence to solve problems? Or do you want influence to control people? Do you want increase to fulfill assignment? Or do you want increase to prove your worth? Oh dear, are you thinking? Prayer is where God corrects the private reason before the public result corrupts you. That is why Jesus prayed. If anybody understood purpose, Jesus did. If anybody obeyed principles, Jesus did. If anybody had power, Jesus did. Yet He withdrew to pray. Why? Because power must stay connected to source. Assignment must stay connected to the sender. Influence must stay submitted to the Father. If Jesus prayed, what makes you think you can succeed without prayer? The mature person does both. Say that out loud. The mature person does both. They pray deeply and obey consistently. They do not use prayer to escape work, and they do not use work to escape prayer. They do not say, I prayed while living carelessly. And they do not say, I know the laws, while becoming proud. They understand that prayer keeps the heart aligned and obedience keeps the life ordered. So now we see the pathway. Purpose tells you why you were created. Potential reveals what God placed inside you. Passion gives energy to pursue it. Principles give direction to govern it. Planning gives structure to vision. People bring relationship to fulfillment. Persistence keeps you acting consistently. Perseverance keeps you standing under pressure. And prayer keeps you connected to the lawgiver, so success does not corrupt the servant. This is the balance. Do not become so spiritual that you violate laws. And do not become so successful that you forget God. Pray, then obey. Obey, then pray. Build, then bow. Plan, then submit. Work, then worship. Because the goal is not just achievement. The goal is assignment. The goal is not just to become celebrated. The goal is to complete what God sent you to do. Prayer keeps the successful person connected to the source. So achievement never replaces assignment. So now the question is not, will God bless me? The question is, will I obey the laws that make the blessing usable? Oh dear. Are you thinking? Because many people are waiting for God to do what God already established a principle to produce. They are waiting for luck. They are waiting for favoritism. They are waiting for somebody to discover them. They are waiting for a miracle event to replace a disciplined life. But success is not luck. Say that out loud. Success is not luck. Success is not favoritism. Success is not comparison. Success is not an accident. Success is the result of obeying the laws connected to purpose. Let me say it again, because I want this to settle in your spirit. Success is not what happened to somebody else. Success is not who got there before you. Success is not who clapped for you. Success is not who opened the door for you. Success is fulfilling the purpose for which God created you by obeying the principles that govern that purpose. That means your future is not as mysterious as you think. It is not as random as you think. It is not as helpless as you think. Your future begins to change when you stop waiting for chance and start obeying the laws God already established for your success. Now, here is where we must become honest. Please write this down. One violated principle can produce many unnecessary problems. One violated principle, not 10 demons, not 5 enemies, not bad luck. Sometimes one violated principle is creating a harvest you do not like. You are blaming time, but the issue may be discipline. You are blaming lack, but the issue may be stewardship. You are blaming people, but the issue may be relationship selection. You are blaming confusion, but the issue may be planning. You are blaming environment, but the issue may be obedience. You are blaming delay, but the issue may be inconsistency. So I want you to stop for a moment and ask yourself, what law have I been violating? Not what person hurt me, not what system ignored me, not what opportunity I missed. Those things may be real, but they are not always final. The question is, what principle have I abandoned that I must return to? Have you violated the law of purpose by living without definition? Have you violated the law of potential by burying your gift in fear? Have you violated the law of passion by giving your energy to what God never assigned? Have you violated the law of principles by letting appetite lead you? Have you violated the law of planning by calling disorder faith? Have you violated the law of people by giving wrong access to your destiny? Have you violated persistence by quitting too quickly? Have you violated perseverance by bowing to pressure? Have you violated prayer by becoming too busy for the source? This is not condemnation. This is correction. Correction is mercy when it brings you back to law. A road sign that says bridge out is not your enemy. It is trying to save your life. A warning light on your car is not attacking you. It is revealing what must be addressed before damage becomes destruction. In the same way, pain can become a teacher if you stop calling everything bad luck and start asking, what principle is speaking to me through this consequence? You do not need a new life first. You need a new obedience. You do not need a new personality first. You need a return principle. You do not need to envy somebody else's harvest. You need to examine your seed, your soil, your season, and your stewardship, because God is not confused. Creation is not confused. Laws are not confused. If you plant the right seed in the right soil, protect it in the right season, and manage it with patience, harvest becomes predictable. Maybe not instant, but predictable. Now I want you to do something practical. Write down one law you must return to this week, not next year, not someday. This week. Write it down. Is it discipline? Is it stewardship? Is it planning? Is it prayer? Is it relationships? Is it obedience? Is it rest? Is it study? Is it service? Write down the law. Then write down the excuse you are laying down. Because every excuse you protect becomes a chain you polish. Oh dear, that is good. Every excuse you protect becomes a chain you polish. You keep it shiny, but it is still holding you. Lay down the excuse. I do not have time. Lay it down. Nobody helps me. Lay it down. I am too old. Lay it down. I am too young. Lay it down. I failed before. Lay it down. They did not support me. Lay it down. I do not feel ready. Lay it down. Readiness often comes while obeying. Strength often comes while walking. Clarity often comes while moving in the direction of purpose. And if this teaching has spoken to you, I want you to make a declaration, not just in your mind, but with your words. Comment this: I choose principle over chance. Write it, say it, believe it. I choose principle over chance. Or write the specific truth you are choosing to live by. I choose discipline over excuses. I choose purpose over comparison. I choose planning over confusion. I choose obedience over delay. Put a demand on your own spirit. Let your words agree with God's original purpose for your life. And share this teaching with somebody who has been blaming luck but is ready to live by wisdom. Subscribe so you can keep receiving principles that build your life, not just messages that excite your emotions. We are not here to entertain you. We are here to equip you. We are here to transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. May God bless your purpose. May He strengthen your discipline. May He correct your path with mercy. May He give you courage to return to the laws you have neglected. May your gift be developed, your plans be ordered, your relationships be aligned, your prayers be sincere, and your harvest be faithful to the seeds you plant. Stop waiting for chance. Choose principle. Obey God. Build diligently. Bow humbly. And become predictable in purpose.